Why is a daily routine helpful, not just for your puppy, but for you? Well, in my experience, having raised lots of puppies and dogs, not having any type of a routine, it makes it really hard to get anything done. Meaning, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants on a day-to-day basis. You don't know when your puppy's going to sleep, when they're going to go outside, when they need to go into their crate, which means when can you take a shower, when can you work, when can you get anything done. Everything's just sort of up in the air. And that might be okay for a few weeks, but if it drags on beyond that, it gets to be a little bit too much. Now, first of all, whenever we bring a puppy or a dog into our home, even an adult dog, there's an adjustment period. And that could be anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple of months. We don't expect a puppy to come home and immediately be sleeping through the night and be completely housebroken, and they don't require any supervision. That's a very unrealistic expectation, and if that's your expectation, you're going to be pretty disappointed and frustrated. We need to know from the day that puppy or dog comes into our home, there's going to be adjustment. And it's going to be required for everybody involved to be a part of setting a new schedule and helping with that schedule. Because if everybody isn't on the same page, you're not going to make a whole lot of progress. And so what do I mean by a schedule? So our long-term goal for any puppy or dog coming into our home is that they will at some point adapt to our lifestyle, meaning when we go to bed, when we wake up, when we're available to play with them and take them for walks and spend time with them. We don't want to start a routine of, I have to commit 24/7 of my life to this puppy or dog forever, or even for 6 months, because it's not realistic. And that's where a lot of people get frustrated, because there's this huge imbalance between the puppy's routine versus your routine. And let's be honest, your routine is mandatory and it usually takes priority. You're the one that is feeding them, caring for them, having to work, having to take care of yourself and your family and whatever else is involved in your own life. But we can't have this really big imbalance of, people have told me over the years, oh my gosh, I haven't taken a shower in 3 days because I have a puppy. And I think, that's a problem, especially for people who have to live with you. But we can't go down that road of, I didn't have time to eat today because I was chasing the puppy around all day. The puppy doesn't sleep all night, he's up all night, so I stayed up all night with him and now I'm exhausted. Again, there's some adjustment, but we need to start from the day the puppy comes home or the dog comes home, really identifying how we're going to work towards getting this puppy on our daily routine or our schedule. Not expecting them to do it in a couple days, but that's the end goal, whether it's a week or a month or 6 months, but we should always be working towards that. For example, my family, we sleep at night. So our goal is to get our puppies sleeping through the night, not to stay up all night with them so that they can sleep all day. And then I have to stay up all day because I'm working and doing other things. So I basically am getting no sleep. The puppy is extremely well rested. They're just on the opposite schedule for sleeping that we are. So we need to look at things like that and their meal times. Do I want to feed my puppy at 2 in the morning? No, I want to feed them at maybe 7 a.m. and noon and 5 p.m. I want to slowly start moving them towards the long-term schedule that I would like them to live on. The time of day I'm going to walk them, how much time and what times of day I have to give them supervision so that they can be out in the house, interacting with us, out of their crate. So all of these things are really important, and I have people ask me all the time, well, what should their daily schedule look like? First of all, what does your schedule look like? Write that out. When do you wake up? Do you work from home? Do you work out of the home? Do you have a dog walker? What does your daily schedule look like? So put that in writing first. Then next to it, start trying to fit the puppy into your schedule, realizing in the beginning it's going to be a free-for-all. You may need them to sleep for 3 hours. They may sleep for half hour. But the goal is you're going to close those gaps over time as they mature, as they settle into your home. But we have to have a goal. We have to know where we want them to go. Where we get overwhelmed is if we have no idea where it's going and we just let the puppy or dog drive all of our decisions on a day-to-day basis. We're the ones that start feeling overwhelmed but so does your puppy or dog. Puppies and dogs, puppies especially, they need an average of 16 to 18 hours of sleep per day. That is deep, restful sleep in a confined space where they can't keep waking up every 10 minutes when they hear something or they see something and they want to go investigate. I know there's controversy about people who don't like crates. I don't like to confine my puppy or dog. That's a conversation I've had since the first day I started this profession, and I'll probably have it until the end. All I can say is my own personal experience, why I feel that the crate or an X-Pen or your gate, it's so important for puppies and dogs coming into your home. Does it mean they're going to live there their entire life? No, hopefully not. Hopefully it's just a period of time in their life and then they graduate to freedom. But without any level of confinement, you will have no ability to develop a routine. The puppy will drive your routine because he will be on the run, on the move, 24/7. And I have met very few humans who cope with that very well. You will not effectively housebreak them in any reasonable amount of time. They will consistently be overtired, therefore cranky, edgy, barky, obnoxious, rude, however you want to label it, not a lot of fun to live with. So having this puppy sleep is critical to their health and development and to your mental health. So we start with, okay, if we're going to really establish a routine, we need to have some way to confine our puppy or dog for their safety, for them to relax, and for us to start helping them establish good sleep patterns, which is in the end part of their routine. I have never met a puppy in my entire life or career that established their own routines. On their own, left to their own devices, they'll do what comes naturally. It's usually nothing that we're going to be comfortable with or like, or that's good for them. So it's our job to help them. We're teaching them, we're helping them learn that, boy, when I feel tired, yeah, it's kind of a good idea to just lay down in my crate or in a confined area on my comfy bed and go to sleep. Because they wake up and they're not as demanding, as frantic, as wild, as edgy and obnoxious as they are when they're extremely sleep deprived. So if we're going to have a good routine, we have to make sure this puppy and dog that they're getting enough rest. It's probably one of the most overlooked parts of having puppies and dogs. People really just don't know how much sleep these puppies and dogs need, therefore they don't build it into their daily routine. And I'm really encouraging my clients, I have for years, make sure that is top priority on your list of things we need to do for this puppy. Then when you look at the rest of the routine, again, what does your day look like versus how do I meet this puppy's needs? You want to take them for walks, you want to play with them. We want to start acclimating them to having freedom in our home. But when they're puppies, it's with 100% human supervision. And it needs to be a human that is mature enough and capable of actually managing that routine. I personally never left my young children in charge of the dog. It wasn't fair to the kids, and it really wasn't fair to the puppy or the dog. It needs to be a responsible person, young adult, you know your kids best. But I've raised 3 children, and when they were very young, they were barely able to take care of themselves, much less turn a wild, out of control puppy loose on them and see how that works out. It doesn't work out very well. So, as we're building this routine, we're building lots of things into the day. We're helping the puppy get enough sleep, they're acclimating to their crate, they're getting exercise, they're playing, they're training, they're spending time with their people, they're getting used to being in the home, and we're shaping this daily routine. Every single person's routine is different. Everybody's life is different. So I can't give people a cookie cutter, do this, and this, and bam, you have a routine. I don't know when you wake up. I don't know when you go to work. I don't know what your day-to-day routine looks like. Maybe you have 5 young children at home and you're homeschooling them. I can't possibly tell you how to live your daily routine because it's your life. But I can give you pointers, which are how much sleep this puppy needs. It needs to be in their crate. They need 100% supervision when they're not confined. They need mental stimulation. They need training. They need to have fun. They need exercise. They need so many things when they're growing up, and this is also true of adult dogs who join our family. So you take all of their needs and you have to fill in the blanks when it comes to developing this routine. So as you work through your routine, now merging the puppy or dog into your routine, as I said, it's not going to happen day one. It's not going to happen in a week. It's going to happen over time. But you're going to slowly see as the weeks go by that, wow, I'm getting more things done, and I can predict now when I put them down for a nap, they actually stay asleep for a couple hours so I can make calls or work or run errands or whatever it is you need to do. That's where you start to see your stress level decrease because there's some predictability in your day now. You don't wake up every morning and go, oh my gosh, now what's going to happen? Doesn't mean you're not going to have things go sideways occasionally, but the goal is to always be making slow, consistent progress forward, not to be spinning your wheels and stay in survival mode until you're completely exhausted and you don't know what to do anymore. Because if you're feeling frazzled and burned out, it's probably likely your puppy or dog is too, because they're not getting the schedule and the routine that they need, and neither are you. So the goal from the beginning is, again, write out what your family or your routine is. Then, how do you start plugging this puppy and dog into that in little increments, week by week? Expect things to change week by week. Puppies and dogs, especially puppies, they grow very quickly. They change very quickly. What they needed when they came home at 8 weeks will be extremely different when they're 12 weeks old. So you have to be consistently changing this and going forward, not just getting in a holding pattern and not knowing what to do. Where I often see people struggle is when, again, they're trying to live on the puppy schedule, thinking that theirs no longer matters. Yours does matter. You have to be flexible, but you have to merge the puppy into your life. And when you do that over weeks and months, you start to see a very different situation at home. My dogs right now are 2.5 and about 15 months old, Ducky. He is now graduated to sleeping out of his crate at night. He sleeps in later in the morning. I typically wake up before him now versus the other way around. He hangs out in the house versus being in his crate most of the time. He's still crated. I don't want him to get used to never being crated because there are times he still needs to go in there. But he's slowly turning that corner. Now his routine is very predictable. My dogs have a very predictable routine, and it works really well with my routine and my family's routine. But it didn't happen in a couple weeks or a couple months, but it consistently moved forward every month of his life. And now with the two of them, they're pretty even as far as what I can do with them and how much they can be free in the house. Marshall's pretty much free all the time. He doesn't get crated. But it took a while. And so when people ask me, well, I need this to happen in a certain period of time, obviously you have to work towards it, but you have to have some flexibility. The good news is we all move in the right direction as long as we're making it a priority. Just like training is important, so is establishing these early routines. So I would really encourage you to either develop your routine, whatever that involves with family or whoever you share your home with, and then merge the puppy or dog into it. And I guarantee very quickly you will start to see changes, positive changes, that make everybody's life more enjoyable.